Hello and welcome back to Down the Slope. A change of host again. We're changing it up again. However, there is the three of us. I am joined by Liam and Craig. And well, Liam, as it says on the episode title on the thumbnail on YouTube, are the good times here to stay?
This could be over really quickly because if people are just tuning in to find out if the good times are here to stay or not, then they could probably just dial off really quickly, couldn't they? Once they've heard what we've got to say. Um, I think, you know, 15 unbeaten in the league, first time since 1947.
So what it is.
Season ticket sales now. We've just, I think, a couple of hours before going on air, heard that season ticket sales are 10,000. I presume the club have communicated that number because they've not communicated the number for the last 2 or 3 years because it's obviously a really positive news story. So I think we're probably likely to have a lot more people in the ground next season watching hopefully a very successful team. We beat a team who over the last number of years have caused us quite a lot of problems. Not so much at Easter Road typically, but on the road caused a lot of problems
Is that your vibe?
with ease. Aye, I think they have caused us
I almost
problems.
feel the other way around though.
I think if you go back a wee bit further, they probably caused us more problems at Easter Road. But I think in recent times, I think it's been
Aye.
there where we've slipped up. I mean, with such ease to the point that, I was a wee bit worried about going to the game yesterday, and I actually at the game was like, they have a less than 1% chance of getting something to this game. They're like
Yeah.
it was that much of a one-sided game. And we're sitting in third place in the league. We've got a really difficult fixture on Saturday. No matter what people say, it's always difficult going to Ibrox. But I think we're going there with the belief that we can get something.
Mm.
So I think the answer, in short, is yes. I think the good times are back, and I really, really hope that they're here to stay.
Craig, is there anything else for either of us to say, or we should just call it there? We were a couple of minutes on late anyway, talking about the cost of takeaways at various parts of the country where we stay. Like, will we just wrap it here, or what do you think? Are
Wrap it
the
up. He said everything there, hasn't he?
Mm.
He's done it.
what do you think? Good times here to stay or not? Because
That
you've been
appears
telling us
so.
we're due a defeat for months now.
I know. I'm still absolutely convincing myself of that, to be fair. But no, it's brilliant. Soak it up, enjoy it. I see a lot of the sort of young team in that, which I would now consider myself not part of the young team. Uh, this type of run does not come round very often as a Hibs fan, so I'm enjoying it, and it appears we found a lovely bit of consistency at the moment. So brilliant.
Mm. That was fantastic. It was a really comfortable afternoon, obviously, on Saturday. You touched on it, Liam. You maybe we spoke before the game, and I was like, no, we're like, I just was pretty relaxed, but I think you had a little bit more of a bad feeling. Was that maybe team sheet related, or just was it on Craig's laws of averages that something bad's going to happen eventually?
I don't know. I think it's maybe been warped by the media narrative that St Johnstone have improved massively in the time span since not really since the new manager's come in, but I think the sort of people have been charting kind of last sort of 6 8 weeks. They've really improved.
Mm.
Got to be honest, that improvement wasn't evident at the weekend at all. I think I tweeted to say I think that is probably the worst, even including Clyde Banging, it probably is the worst team we've seen come Easter Road this season in terms of performance as a collective or as a bunch of
Just
individuals. I mean, they
carrying a
were
threat, yeah.
they were absolutely hopeless. I mean, it was 70 odd minutes on the clock before they got a shot and it was blocked.
I
I mean,
can't even
how
remember it. Like I
Yeah, I
literally cannot
can.
even. I
Aye.
seen the stat
they
had one shot, and I was like, when was that?"
they finished the game with an XG of I know you love this 0.04, which
Oof.
is really impressive. And that was I think it might have all been from that one shot, which was from about 25 yards out. So aye, but anyway, let's not talking about them. Let's not talk about them. Let's just focus on us. I've just the we made them look that bad because of some of the things we did, particularly off the ball, when we got a lot of out of players off the ball. My worry, I think, maybe was a wee bit team sheet related, but I think I was just worried more about the sort of media narrative on St Johnston. I should know better now than to read into the media narrative and just trust my
Mhm.
instincts.
Chris has just made a very good point in the YouTube comments there. My only worry was that Hibs done some form of ticket incentive, and we always do it against them, and it usually blows up in our face. Which
I
I
would
don't.
like
What
to
was
point
the
out
incentive?
if you sign up for that Sign for Hibs thing, I think you got a free ticket.
Was that like a Hibs
It's
kid
like a
thing or something?
kids thing.
Okay.
It's like an older kids thing, I think. But I would like to point out we did the last game against Kelly was football for a fiver, and we won that 1-0 off the back of
Mm.
a derby win, which is almost a doubler in it because we didn't normally win on
Aye.
after a derby, but they won after a derby and it was football for a fiver. So this Hibs team are blowing that narrative apart about the typical Hibs that you people.
At the end of the day, I think there's a real just talking about narrative and stuff. Like, I think the way we're going about our business in this, obviously we can talk about it like as a 15 game unbeaten stretch in the league, but ultimately is it now? It's like 2 defeats in 20 or something like that. Is it something like that? 2 defeats in 19, and they've both been Celtic. I think because it's that. I think it's a long time anyway, and like we're just. It's not like you look back and go at Neil Lennon's side, and it's like it was kind of like swashbuckling, and like you had 5 3s and 5 5s in there. It just feels like this team are being really composed and there's a calmness and there's just an efficiency. And I think for me, Craig, that's where my calmness came coming into the game. I felt similar going into the Hearts game, and I was like, I think like I've said it a lot recently. Like, I feel all right. You know what I mean? Like I think we'll be fine
Uh,
today. Like, is that sort of where you're at? Or
I, we're quite a steady team. I don't think we do anything particularly unbelievable week in, week out. But we're churning out results, and even when we're not playing particularly well, we're getting results. But to be fair, at the weekend, I thought we did play quite well. Like Liam's touched on, yeah, we don't want to talk about him, but the quality of the opposition does have to be taken into account.
Mhm.
I was kind of at the game, I was debating, I was like, do I commend them on trying to play football here, or is it just completely stupid? And to be honest, it was completely. 2 minutes in, I turned to the guy next to me and says, we're going to catch him at some point because
Yeah,
they're not going to get away with this
yeah,
because they're just not good enough for it. But off the ball, I thought we were very, very good and we were setting traps for them and they were playing right into our hands, to be fair.
yeah. I mean, for me, like, let's just start with the team sets. It makes more sense at the start of the game. So, what was it? One change from Kelly, with Miko coming in for Bowie. Look, it was probably a surprise. I think certainly myself and you, Craig, would being at Rugby Park weren't overly impressed with Bowie, to be fair, in that game. And there did seem to be a feeling before the game of real shock and surprise. I think probably me spoke Liam, we sort of both felt that, but I don't think Bowie's is at a stage where he sort of shouldn't be dropped, for poor performance or anything like that. But were you surprised to see no more changes? Maybe that one was a surprise as well, but we had sort of 3 or 4 players there that had been on national duty and all
I,
Giannis.
I,
I
I,
do
I,
surprised.
I did think Miller and Boyle, or certainly one of the two of them, would probably be dropped because I think if you look at after the international break so far this season, there's definitely precedent for one, if not both of them, to be dropped or not
Hmm.
start on coming back from international duty. I think Mariah Welsh as well because he's kind of coming back the other way, which is if you travel time zones from sort of west east is more difficult. I kind of thought he probably wouldn't play just on that basis. And I, I mean, I think the only other change, or the only other change I maybe expect to see is I kind of just expect to see Josh Campbell's name on the team sheet.
Yeah.
I know he didn't start against Kelly, but I kind of look at it and go, oh, where's Campbell? Because I just kind of expect him over the period of the last sort of 18, 19 games, the last 2 games aside, he's been pretty much a mainstay because other than the injury he had last season, he's no kind of player that picks up an awful lot of
No.
injuries either. He tends to always be available, so you just sort of expect him to be in there. So yeah, I maybe did expect more changes than there were, but I didn't really have any major anxiety about the team sheet. I think the only issue I had with it, really, to be honest, was who he brought in up front. But I think that's seems to be a bit of a permanent issue for me at the moment.
It seems. Do you want to talk about that change just now? Or
Aye, go
like
for it.
Miko? So I thought, as far as I was concerned, I don't think Miko's he's not he's not been great, especially since Celtic Park, and obviously his injury. He's not had loads of minutes, to be fair, since he came back either. He's that was only his second start since he came back from injury. His other start, sorry, at least in the league. Sorry, he started against Clydebank and Ayr in the cup, and he scored in his last start against Dundee United, and it might actually been the last time he's seen a pitch. If,
Mm.
maybe I might be wrong. I think he maybe came on late at Kelly potentially, but it was the last time he played any substantial minutes was at Tannadice and he scored. And so I don't think that he's in a sort of like what I said on Bowie potentially earlier, that I don't think Bowie's, ripping it up to the point where it's like you've got to start him. I understand the want, and I think the potential
Yeah,
is there for Bowie to sort of be clearly our best number nine, but I'm not sure that we've seen that yet. However, Miko probably didn't do himself any favours on Saturday, Craig. I don't think the criticism that he's been given is warranted. I still thought he was decent in the game. Look, he obviously maybe missed chances aside, but I didn't see that he done too much wrong outside of that.
Uh, uh, I don't think. I think some people are a bit over the top, uh, and kind of have a meltdown as soon as his name was put on the team sheet. But ultimately, like, he's part of the squad, so people are just gonna have to accept that he is going to play some minutes, and Bowie isn't going to play every single game and isn't going to start every single game.
Mhm.
So I don't think rotation is such a bad thing. I would probably slightly disagree that he was decent. I don't think he was very decent, to be honest. I thought he was quite poor overall. Uh, Misses a massive chance, and I know you're highlighting obviously the last time he played Dundee United away, he scored, but I think scoring and playing well are also two
I
different
thought he played
things.
well at Tannadice, to be fair.
I thought it was average, it was passable, and I didn't think he was. I don't think he was passable at the weekend, to be honest. His entire hold-up play as a striker just irritates the life out of me. Just the ball does not stick to him, and I think that's such a massive part of being a striker. And it was winding me up again at the weekend. I
So,
don't think, I don't think he had a stinker. I really don't think he
yeah.
had a stinker. And I
So,
think the chance that he missed, it was more difficult than people are
uh
giving stick for. But
so, it's interesting. At the game, I thought that, and then I thought he was a bit sort of beyond the back post, and then I seen it back on the TV, and I was like,
I
oh,
just think it's a volley at pace.
yeah,
It's
he
it's
should
not
score.
it's not a simple tap, and he absolutely 100% should score. But I don't think it's the glaringly howling miss that maybe it looks as it
See,
is.
actually, at the game, Liam, I thought the well-worked corner routine that he
that was
got at
a
the end
really
of,
good
I actually
chance.
thought that was of the two the better of the two chances. But
No,
on
no, it
reflections,
wasn't. It
yeah, no, I
definitely
know,
wasn't.
but like on reflection, seeing them back, I actually think he's fairly don't know if unlucky. Like, he gets a good strike on it in the second half, and it's just it goes straight to
Do you,
keep it. It'd be a good finish to get to the other side. He
do
has
you know what one he
Yeah.
should have done better on as well is see literally just about 10 seconds before Abita plays the ball in, Boyle flash it right across the face. And then I just thought his movement in that situation was all wrong. Like any good striker, he went to go front post and like darted towards the front post when it was never going to come. It was always going across the face. And if he just peeled off to the back post, he had a tapping.
Hmm.
Uh, just wee decisions like that, I think he was just getting
Yeah.
wrong.
I'm going to mention it again because I know how much everyone loves it, but he is a striker who's underperforming his XG quite significantly in the league. He is a striker who I don't think gives you enough off the ball or in possession to justify the wastage of chances he gets. If you go back maybe 7 or 8 years ago, people used to get frustrated at Simon Murray for not finishing his chances. But what Simon Murray gave you off the ball was just significantly more than Miko
Hmm.
does, both in possession and out of possession. To add to that, he's not our player. So, I
True.
don't really have an interest in developing him or, look at working on the flaws of his game. I'd rather work with a player who's going to be here next season than Kieran Bowie. And to be honest, for later stages in the game, when teams are stretched, particularly at the weekend, I would go to Dwight Gale first before I'd go to Miko, just because I think Gale just gives you more threat, frankly, and is more likely to finish the chances that he gets.
Hmm.
Albeit, I think all the mood music. I didn't
It
listen to the
actually gives
whole
you more
thing,
work
but
as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, aye, and if he's on for short bursts, he definitely can. I think it's when you're asking him to play like 60 minutes, maybe you don't get
Ah,
quite as much work. But aye,
I thought we were going to get a really nice transition there when you're talking about what he gives you off the ball, Liam, because whilst in general I'd agree, I think he was a big part in a sort of forward unit that pressed really well at the weekend, and I've got to say that I felt at the beginning of this season, when Harry said it felt like every week that teams were just letting us have the ball because they knew we weren't going to do anything with it, and I was like, mate, that's a nonsense. Folk do that. Well, see, at the weekend, I thought Hibs pressed on occasion, and when they done it well. But it almost felt like we just went, right, let's get the ball in that half, and if we've got it, great, and if you've got it, even better. But that I thought that front line pressed really well and didn't really give St Johnston when it was right. they didn't really give them 2 seconds to breathe on the ball, and I mean, sort of both goals stem from us winning it back
Yeah,
in the final third.
yeah. I
I,
mean, the boys in open goal love to praise Valakari for sticking to his principles. I was hearing quite a lot about that on Saturday, but I think ultimately, part of your job as a head coach, was when something's not working, is to change it, and it just blatantly wasn't working, and it did feel like it was a matter of time before we scored from them dallying on it. And I don't know enough about those individual players to know. The only one that I've really seen much of is obviously Barry Douglas, but not really as a left-sided centre back. I don't know if they're capable of doing that or not, but it didn't look to me on Saturday like they were.
Nah,
nah,
it
I,
just nah, it just looked really uncomfortable, didn't it? And really, now obviously, I suppose in a sense it is forced because it's a tactic and it's an instruction, but do you know when it just didn't look natural at all, did it? Do you know? And I mean, at times there was occasions where they sort of got round us, but even then, like I've actually thought Levitt and Chianti has done a really good job in behind the sort of front line as well. That they sort of just a lot of the time just reacting to balls into the middle of the pitch and getting on it and sort of sustaining that and keeping us in that half to sort of well, I suppose sustain the attack. Like I say, and that's certainly where the first goal come from, Craig. The sort of won it back, lost it, won it back, and I mean it's unbelievable from Junior Hoylett. It was perfect. My angle on the
uh,
east stand as soon as he hit it went, that's in, and just like it was just great.
and just coming off the back of slating him, I'll give Miko a bit of credit. I thought his pressing was good there, and he played quite an important role ultimately in the goal because it was getting shelled down the park if he hadn't got in and blocked it. Uh, and I was saying after he finished it, Hoylett's goal was literally like the perfect FIFA goal. Like that is exactly what you picture see as soon as he cuts
Is it R
inside,
one when
that's
you're
what
like
you're picturing now. Just finessing it into the top corner. It was beautiful. I'd like to see him do that. Obviously, I'd like to see him do it
very
more
nearly
often.
done it at Kelly, didn't he, in the first half? My
Yeah, the one
God,
that hit top of the net. I think he's got that in his locker, and I think I'd like to see more of that type of stuff from him, taking folk on, having shots. I'd like to see a few more goals off him as well, but that's a good starting point for sure.
um, Liam, Hoylett's an interesting one. You mentioned maybe expecting to see Josh Campbell come into the team. Hoylett, now forgive me, I know you don't particularly enjoy the tactical side of things. It looked to me like there was a little bit of change, like where maybe Boyle and Hoylett were more playing on the sides than as like any one playing as a 10. But do you, especially against teams like St Johnston and Kelly, prefer Hoylett in there, giving you a little bit more maybe on the ball than Josh Campbell does, where it's more of an aerial sort of thing? Like,
Oh,
what?
I don't know. I just think it just depends on who you're playing and how they're set up. I find it really hard to pick team two. It's probably one of the biggest selection dilemmas for me now because I think Hoylett's been pretty exceptional the last couple of games on the ball. Having gone through a period where I don't think, other than the odd fleeting appearance off the bench, he was doing well, having gone through a period where he wasn't offering much, whereas Campbell's kind of consistently been sort of 7 out of 10 on this 21 game run that we're
Hmm.
talking about. Um, I do really like that option of just being able to just bang it long to Campbell. And I think when we go to Ibrox on Saturday, I fully expect that Campbell will come back in the team for that very reason.
They
Yes,
offer
I
you
would
two
agree.
very
Yeah, yeah.
different things, really, don't they? Like
Uh,
Hoyle and Campbell. It's good. It's like you say, it's good to have the two sort of stark different options. One a lot of legs, a lot of running, a lot more mobile, and probably not quite as sharp on the ball. And then Hoyle gives you the other option.
Yeah,
I think that's where Jamie McGrath will probably play
I
next
think so.
season as
Yes.
well. So, I would say McGrath and Campbell are very, very different, presuming that's who he's got to choose between. Um, in terms of profile of player, McGrath's not as much of an athlete as Campbell, but probably gives you quite a lot more in terms of quality on the ball and probably more of a goal threat as well, I would say, albeit
Yeah.
Campbell is a threat from
Yeah,
still, but I think McGrath's career history shows that
yeah,
he
on a
does
more
he is a
consistent
sort of
basis.
7 or 8 goal a season midfielder pretty
And
consistent.
assist sort of
Uh,
danger as well, chance creation danger.
Yeah, the just worth highlighting maybe a couple of things that's come in on the YouTube comments there. Of people giving up their Monday night to listen to us talk Pish. Chris Black says that Miko apparently played well and scored in a bounce game during the break. It was mentioned on Hibs TV as he couldn't attend due to a bereavement. Sorry to hear that, Chris. And he also said that he thought Warren O'Hara would come in for Miller. Because Miller had taken a couple of dodgy ones against China, apparently. Sort of much in line with sort of your train of thought there, Liam. But while we're talking about individuals, I'll take us back to Junior Hoylett in a minute. I thought Lewis Miller's performed admirably well since he's come back into the team at right centre back. Probably a quieter game for him, and he had some more opportunities to get forward, but more than worthy of his place in the team just now. The only other thing from team selection we didn't mention, where's Ellie Yuan? Came on at Celtic Park and hasn't been in the squad since.
It's a bizarre one.
Have I missed
a lot
anything?
of rumours flying about. I know that, but it's strange.
Have I missed anything there? Has there been any talk of a reoccurrence or?
No, there's not been any talk of reoccurrence, and I find it a wee bit worrying, to be honest, because ultimately I think the situation now that we all want to get from this is that he moves on for a nice princely sum in the summer. But if you're not playing, that becomes very difficult to then enable that to happen. So at some point between now and the seven league games we've got between now and the end of the season, he does need to make a reappearance and probably could do with a bit of run in the team. But with the team doing so well, we might find it hard to get any minutes.
I'm worried about it because he's over his time at Hibs. It's one thing that's been clear and sort of a consistent theme is that he does take a wee while to get up and running when he's been having a spell out with the team, and it takes him a few games to get into the swing of things. And ultimately, we've not got many games left really to afford that getting up to speed period. So I'm quite concerned about that one.
Aye, well, but let's not talk about hypotheticals. Something that absolutely wasn't hypothetical was Junior Hoylett's tackle in the middle of the park. Lovely stuff. I don't know why I was convinced the referee was going to blow for a foul. I mean, it wasn't, but I was just adamant he was. Also, am I right in saying that Hoylett done that earlier in the season? Like, won the ball back and then scored himself? I want to say against Motherwell, maybe, like West Stand side, cutting in and slotting it,
Would that
maybe?
not be last season? That was last season. He pickpocketed Stephen O'Donnell.
It must have been this year.
Oh, no, yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Anyway,
start of the season.
Was that the game we lost 2-1?
Yeah,
Aye.
it was when Champs got sent off.
Aye.
That's the reason it feels like last season, because we were pretty much a different fucking team at that stage.
It basically has been 2 full seasons, isn't it?
Anyway, totally making us digress there. Lands at the feet of Martin Boyle. Good finish. Heard some people saying the goalkeeper should be doing better. I think it's a good finish back across. What do you think, Liam? See your face there.
I'd be wanting my goalie to get down to that a bit quicker, to be honest. It's not a bad finish because it's one of those rolled ones that goes across the goal, and I think it does have a tendency to make the goalie look a bit silly because it's slow. But I'd be wanting my goal. I'd be asking questions of my goalkeeper there, to be honest.
Where did that goalkeeper rank in the terrace? Says top 10.
Who is he, by the way? Because they had the boy Josh Ray for Airdrie goals at the start of the season. Now they've got someone else in goals.
They signed him on Andy Fisher, who ranked 8th out of the top 10.
That's not a real name. I'm sorry, that's not a footballer's name. Andy Fisher.
Do you know another player that they've got on? I'm assuming he's on loan for somewhere. A player that's been getting quite rave reviews. Who I was kind of not that I was looking forward to seeing any St Johnston players, but someone I thought it'd be interesting to see how he looked.
You're going to say Sprangler, eh?
No.
No.
This middle of the three, Mitchell, I believe he's on loan from Charlton. I've listened to things like the Terrace and stuff, but even just St Johnston fans on
it can't be
what
good.
Do you call
on
it?
loan for Charlton, it can't be good. I'm sorry.
This was the thing, right? So I'd literally never seen him play, but all I'd heard was positive things, how he'd been really good come in. And there was a St Johnston fan on the radio, it was maybe after the last game, saying like, Charlton must have some unbelievable defenders if he's come in on loan, blah, blah, blah. And I thought he was fucking useless. Oh my days. Anyway, total non-event saying that. We've spoken enough about St Johnstone, but Craig, Liam said they might be. No, but I just want to get. Are they the worst team we've seen at Easter Road this year? Or are we not giving ourselves enough credit?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because they were trying to play football, but yeah, probably to be honest, it's the most comfortable I've felt in a game at Easter Road. Like I felt in zero danger the entire game. So maybe with that in mind, yes.
Liam, would you
Shout
agree
out to
that
David Gray though.
that's the perfect home win, isn't it? Just 2-0 up at half time. I mean, you'd like to score more goals and stuff, but just going to Easter Road, sort of comfortable throughout, never in any worries. Go home, your heart rate's no spiked at all. Like, happy days, right? Go home and get a 16-inch pizza and chips and cheese.
For 35
It's,
quid.
that is, I mean, it kind of is perfect. I think, if you're going to really strive for perfection, there's maybe a wee bit more entertainment you'd want in the second half. But you really can't nitpick when you're, what was it? Is that 5 or 6 league wins in a row at home?
6, I think it was.
I mean, it's becoming a very enjoyable habit, to be honest. And before the game, I would have taken a 1-0 win of any description. So to win 3-0 and win it so comfortably was good. In terms of are they the worst team we've played this season at home, I think them and Clydebank would be a tight game.
Hmm.
I thought that game was more comfortable than Clydebank. Whereas Clydebank actually had a shot and note.
Was that maybe more to do with us being really shite that day, though?
Clydebank won a couple of corners as well, did they know? So
See, just talking about the home form, the only game that we had in this run of form, since the Aberdeen game, the only game in all competitions that we've not won at Easter Road was the 3-3 against Rangers. We won every other game we've played at Easter Road since the Aberdeen game.
mental.
That is some going. I mean, it felt like over the last couple of years, we've almost been better away from home. Like Easter Road's not really been a place of sort of, what does it say, a fortress by any means. Couple more things come in on the YouTube comments there.
But just say that St Johnstone at home is the only game we won before the Aberdeen game as well at home.
Was that actually?
Aye, we didn't win another home game in the league apart from St Johnstone at home before that Aberdeen game.
Chris says that his missus loves Hibs winning as he's in a great mood when he gets home. So I was happy. I certainly feel that one. Robert Nevison, David Gray has managed the squad. I think I've butchered your last name there. Sorry, Robert. David Gray has managed the squad extremely well for first season manager. The way he's taking Campbell out of the team at the right times for a few weeks and dropping Boyle when he was underperforming, absolutely. And that was sort of right at just right before that sort of Boyle was still at the team at the start of the run, but Campbell literally got dropped for the Dundee game, and then came back in for the Aberdeen game. He wasn't even in the squad.
He brought Boyle back in against Aberdeen away, didn't he? Played him Ewan up front. It was a masterstroke, to be honest.
And then, speaking of Martin Boyle, Kevin Wilson, will Boyle break the 100-goal mark before the end of the season? I think he's on 94, so you're talking 6 goals in 7 games. Hat-trick against Dundee and it's on, maybe?
Like need to run up a score against someone, wouldn't we? And it probably feels unlikely. After the split. So it's
he'd have been cursing us getting a penalty when he wasn't on the pitch.
I know, but I would like to see him do it. It's one of those things, if he's not going to be here next season, it'd be a real pity for him to leave on like 98 or 99 or something, wouldn't it?
Do you find there's like in a player's head, in a player's mind, do you think that would be something, that you hear, like, obviously sort of well documented, I follow Liverpool, you hear people talking about like people like Mo Salah maybe being driven by sort of legacy, if you like. And do you think someone like Martin Boyle,
maybe to an extent,
first Hibs player since Derek Riordan to score 100
Boyle's
goals?
Definitely thinking about that now.
He can overtake Riordan as well, can't he?
Yes, I think if he stayed another year, there'd be a good chance.
So it is. I mean, I don't know. I think we as fans probably put more on that than the players do, to be honest. But I still think it'll be in their sights.
I posed an interesting question in our sort of new that the group that on WhatsApp that we started last week. And the link to that will be in the episode description. So if you want to join in that, there's I think 40 odd Hibs fans in there chatting away during the week. But I asked if Martin Boyle does stay, should he get a testimonial despite his 6-month sort of stint in Saudi Arabia? Craig, I think you said yes. Liam, I'm not sure that I've had. Where do you land on that? I feel like you might feel otherwise. I don't know why. Just the sort of that little like contrarian in you.
I wouldn't really. I'll be honest. It's not one that I would really die in a ditch either way. To be honest, I don't. I think testimonials are a bit birthday card pish.
Aye.
These days, to be honest, I think testimonials were something that were done a very long time ago when football was not a particularly well paid profession for players who needed that money ultimately to set them up beyond football. And I know a lot of players now do it for charity, and I think that's a great thing. Any attempts to raise money for charity, as long as they're rooted to just causes, I think are great. But it's not really a debate I want to enter because I just don't really care for testimonials
Here's
at
one
all.
for you. Martin Boyle agrees to a year extension on reduced terms, but he gets a testimonial. So,
Aye, fuck it. Yeah, aye.
Liam, you put together our agenda most weeks, a little bit look behind the curtain for people. You've highlighted Rudy Milotnikov as maybe someone that's worth talking about. We had a couple sort of points come in about Rudy's lack of game time. Where are you with that? I was thinking about this today. Maybe could he come on late on potentially instead? Did Josh Campbell come on? Have I made that up in my head?
He did come on, yeah, he came on late.
Yeah, very late in the game.
Could he have come on in that position maybe and got
Still
some
had another
minutes?
sub as well.
Aye,
It's a
it's a weird
strange
one,
one.
eh?
It's just I don't know. I feel a wee bit. It's kind of been a bit of a sort of not a proper talking point for weeks now, but it's kind of been like one of those. We just sort of gloss over it when we talk about it, and I just feel like if he was only going to play the Clyde Bank game, would the best thing for him not have been to just have gone out and loan for the second half of the season? And I know it feels like you're nitpicking and looking for excuses, and
Aye,
it's a squad game and all that, but he's either been an unused sub
or
or
the
not in the
20th man.
squad for quite a while now. I
I'm
just
on.
feel like he could have gone to the championship this season and maybe even the bottom end of this league. Like you're not telling me he doesn't go into that St Johnston team at the weekend and doesn't improve him
Or
based on what we've seen this season.
at least gets 60 minutes over
Aye,
2 games or that. Do you know what I mean? Like
aye, just
he,
aye. I don't know. So he's obviously his position on the pitch now is obviously the one that Campbell and Hoylett are occupying.
Mhm.
And I think he's kind of third choice for that. He's probably not going to come on as a deeper midfielder, and therefore that's probably why he's not seeing minutes. But I don't know, just feel that he's been a bit of a victim of the change to T52
Was
There's
his
a lot of
injury
value in
before or
playing.
after the Clyde Bank game? Sorry,
before.
before. So he was right. Okay, he scored two that day as well. One, two,
One.
One, I
one.
think.
Um,
It's
I think
good
there's
as well.
value in also. I know he's not getting minutes, but there is value for him in training as a young player 5 days a week with guys like Hoylett and Dwight Gale. I know Dwight Gale's a striker, but he's a very experienced player and will definitely be able to teach Rudy a thing or two, which he wouldn't get if he went out on loan to
A
a
full-time club
championship
anyway.
team.
Aye.
And ultimately as well, I think we have to going back to Robert's point about David Gray and his management and the squad. I think you have to place a wee bit of trust in David Gray that he maybe knows what he's doing and he is managing them because he did play a lot more than probably anybody wanted him to play at the start of the season, and he was relied on when we were poor. Uh, so I would have to hope that there's some sort of element of management going on there. Obviously, extremely limited minutes and manages his minutes to basically fuck all. But I'd like to think there's something deeper at play there.
Do you think there is that we've probably been quite fortunate with injury in the second half of the season, and certainly in the forward areas, out with Yuan, obviously, who's sort of just been the missing sort of man really since Boxing Day. Where I think Rudy had been on the bench. Now again, I might be wrong. I think he'd been on the bench most weeks, and then when Ellie came back, he dropped off the bench. Like you say, Liam Hoylett's done well in his sort of cameos, and then he's started the last 2 games. Josh Campbell's been. It's like, is it just a circumstance thing? And in January, like, are we looking at it almost a little bit in hindsight, going, "Oh, he should have went in January," but had he went out
No,
on
I
loan in
think
January, would we have been like, "Oh, I don't know," like,
I think we were saying. I think maybe one of us said, possibly myself, someone else, that it maybe would have been the right thing to do would to get him out on loan at that point. 'Cause I think he was injured or coming back from an injury.
mhm.
Um, I just I mean we're in danger of probably making it a bigger talking point than it is. I just kind of felt like we've seen this with to a massive extent Murray Johnson's development. We've kind of prioritised the needs of the club over the player, and I think it's probably what you would expect any football club to do. But I think with Murray Johnson, it's had probably quite a detrimental impact on his development. I think he was recalled at the beginning of a couple of seasons ago, then end up spending the most of it as the third choice
Yeah.
goalkeeper, not even in the match day squad, and then he's gone to Airdrie this season, not really worked out from there. We've recalled him centre back to Queen of the South. It just all feels, I don't know, if it feels like for me, part of what a director of football's responsibility is to help not just plan for the here and now and work with the squad you've got at the moment, but think about the next, year, 18 months, 2 years, and the pathways into the
Yeah.
first team for those players, because both of them, Johnston and Molotnikov, both very highly rated. Both, we've seen the potential of both of them at various different stages of their career. That director of football needs to make sure that those people are realising that potential and make it as
Uh,
easy for them as possible.
oh my God, got totally Jesus Christ. It does feel like a big summer, maybe not so much for Rudy, like it's sort of his first year in and around the team, but then when you play that level of minutes that he did at the start of the season, but for Murray Johnson, Rudy, and I would probably say Kanayo Megwa as well, with the
Yeah,
players that are out of contract. Obviously, in sort of Megwa's position, there's some centre backs that are out of contract, but Lewis Miller potentially sort of Megwa maybe seen as a sort of right hand side sort of centre back hybrid with sort of full back position. Obviously, Chris Cadden's extended his stay already.
yeah.
Murray Johnson, is he going to be viewed as the number one next year? Is he going to sit behind Jordan Smith? Like, obviously, Bez Bachenko, is that right? Has highlighted that we might be bringing in a goalkeeper on loan from within the group. So, and then you've got Kanayo Megwa that's obviously signed a 4-year deal in the summer. Um, Now, I
I
might
think
be a bit oblivious, but he doesn't seem to have been getting the same reviews this year that he did last year.
I think Meg was probably the biggest one. I would say it's yeah, he's not been getting rave reviews, but that's also because Partick Thistle fans just aren't happy there now. So I think that has to play into it. They're maybe not
Mm.
playing that great, but he's been playing consistent minutes, like consistent 90 minutes. So if he's playing that often in the championship and playing okay, I think his next step then has to be playing in the Premiership. And unless he gets sent out on loan to somebody else, I think that's a massive season for him because I would say that's one that if he's going to have hopes of playing at Hibs, next season's the season for him
Aye.
to do that. And he needs to be getting 15, 20 games at Hibs over the course of next season to really work his way into the squad.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about that in the summer months of no football that's sneaking ever so closer as every game goes by, unfortunately. And it is unfortunately at this time, isn't it? Like, 4 months ago it was like how long till the fucking end of this year,
I know.
but no, I just wanted to keep going.
Europe,
Uh,
Europe next season, mate. We can look forward to that.
aye. Liam, you have another quiz for us. I
I
hope
do.
Craig. I don't know if Craig has studied or not this week.
Have a fuck, mate. Have I fuck.
I think
Good
based
old
on
uni fashion.
Craig's efforts a couple of weeks ago, I don't think studying is going to be the difference maker for him. But you never know. You never
Thanks
know.
for
Yeah, I know.
that. So a wee bit of
Setting
a
you up for
fucking dig
success.
there.
So 2 weeks ago, those of you who tuned in will remember that we did the number one appearance maker in that single season since the turn of the century. Well, we're doing it slightly different this week because we're going to focus on super substitutes. So we are going to focus on the players who, in that single season in the last 25 years, made the most substitute appearances. So the player
Oh,
who
this
made the
is
most
right up my
appearances
stupid Hibs brain street, man.
off the bench. So
Craig can
I'll
have
only
that.
accept a player who either jointly, and there's only a couple of seasons where there's a joint winner, or solely were the top substitute appearance maker in that single season since the turn of the century. There's a few players who appear a couple of times on the list, but in most of them, it is a unique answer. So there's quite a lot to go for over the last 25, 26 years. So, gentlemen, again, I'm going to go to Ewan first
Oh,
because
okay.
Ewan looks very
Oh no,
comfortable,
this shit.
looks
No, no,
very
I'm just
happy.
excited. I love this shit. I was actually going to say if you wanted to give Craig the honor
Yeah,
to see him.
Listeners, you can obviously play along in the YouTube
I have
comments. The boys
minimized.
cannot look at the YouTube
I have
comments
minimized
clearly.
I do. I can no longer see the YouTube comments in front of me, although they're on a delay anyway.
Yeah,
Right. We there's what's the Craig? What's the tactic here? Can I go for goalkeepers this time? Can we? I am going to say that our most used substitute this season has been Dwight Gale.
correct. Dwight Gale. joint.
As if he's got the
Yes,
first
this
one
is
right.
one of the fewest one of the very few where there's a joint winner. But Dwight Gale this season is joint with another player on 15 substitute appearances.
Am I having to name the year as well?
No,
No.
of course
That
not.
was going to say that feels harsh because I'm just going to have to name random fucking Hibs players and hope that it sticks. When you actually said it, there was one instantly came to my mind. I'm going to say Jamie McCluskey.
Oh,
Jamie McCluskey is a good shout, but he does not appear on the list, I'm afraid.
that was a rogue one, Craig, but I love it.
During the Mowbray era, he was, but there was someone else during the Mowbray era who got off the bench a lot as well.
Ivan Sproul.
Ivan Sproul does not
No.
appear on the list.
Fuck's sake, man.
Adam Lafondra.
Correct. Last season, 19
shout.
substitute appearances. It's one each after
Got to
2
go for
rounds.
the old guys.
I will go. Oh, right. Lewis Stevenson. I'm thinking maybe COVID season coming on for Josh Doig, maybe.
Nah, Lewis Stevenson doesn't appear on the list.
Grant Holt.
Grant Holt. No, when I was looking at the list, I was looking for his name. I was surprised not to see him, but Grant Holt doesn't appear on the list either, I'm afraid.
James Keatons.
James Keatons does not appear on the list. No James Keatons.
Oh, fucking hell,
Really?
this is grim.
See, I'm now going down at attackers route. I don't know why. I just feel like there's gonna be a high percentage of
Most of
attackers.
them, there's
Think
not
I've got
many circumstances where they're not an attack-minded player, at least.
So that's including attacking midfielders.
Most of them, not all, but most.
Boyle, maybe? Boyle in the early days?
Aye.
Yeah, Martin Boyle, 2015, 2016. It's the only time he appears
Craig's
on the
ahead.
list.
2-1.
Craig's 2-1 up
Fucking
after
hell.
4 rounds.
I'm thinking early Mowbray, Stephen Fletcher, maybe.
Yeah, Stephen Fletcher in
04,
05, 06,
Right.
22 substitute appearances. He also made the most. Oh, no, sorry, no, ignore me. Ignore me.
See, I'm toiling already.
Just got to start throwing names out, mate.
Yeah, I know.
There's a big glut in the middle. You've got the Yogi era, the John Collins era, the Championship,
I tell you
early
what,
years.
is Tavares one?
No, Tavares on the
Ah.
list.
No, because you already had the last 2 years.
Did I?
It's
I
two
got,
each.
oh no, this year and last year.
He's still another player on this year's list as well.
Oh, is Dwight Gill joined top?
Yeah. Mhm.
Junior Hoylett.
No Junior
Is it
Highlight.
not? That's lucky because I was going to say him. Right, I'm trying to wrap up this season's one. Who else has come off the bench loads? Jordan Abita.
Yeah, Jordan Abita.
Oh,
You're back in
fucking
front,
good
Craig. 3-2.
shout,
Jordan
mate.
Abita.
I've not got a strategy down here. This is what's killing me. Right, this is going to be wrong, right? But I feel like Michael Stewart came off the bench loads the year we won the CIS Cup, maybe. No,
No, not Michael Stewart, I'm
that
afraid.
was stupid.
16.
Craig, to stretch your lead to 2. This is an opportunity.
Wait, when did you say Boyle was?
15, 16.
15,
Was it 15,
16.
16? Fuck, oh well.
There's a couple of fans' favourites, a couple of icons that are missing.
A couple of icons. Tony Stokes?
No
Surely
Tony
not.
Stokes.
I'm
Just when you said
thinking
icons.
14, 15. Cummins up top.
Who played?
Allegory was injured loads of the season. Oh, I'm
I've
going
got
a
some.
different. I'm going. Fuck. Wait, have you got the one that you think I for the year I was just talking about?
I'm saying nothing, mate. I'm saying
Right.
nothing.
Because I'm just going to go a different route and say Zamama.
No Merwan Zamama.
Fuck!
Liam Henderson.
Liam Henderson, the 22-23 season, and Craig goes
Wait,
into
no,
the
it's
2
not-
point-
No, that's Ewan Henderson.
You can't be here. Oh, I was
Oh,
going to say
sorry.
I can
Henderson.
get
as
his
well.
brother.
I actually genuinely thought about him earlier.
Oh, no, there's no Liam
Oh.
Henderson.
Right,
Sorry.
that's
Uh,
null and void then. I'll not be a scumbag. Actually,
Oh,
I'd
that's funny.
hand on heart.
Nah, you
thought
weren't
about
gonna
Ewan
say him.
No, like I'd fought against it, but see for the bastard. It was when you said
No, maybe.
Tavares. I was like, see when he said Liam Henderson, I was like, you've already answered that. You fucking idiot.
I know, but then I was thinking, did he only have one spell with us?
Aye. 14,
I'll fuck
15,
Hibs.
you're in 14, 15. Think about it. Is it a striker? Has to be a striker. Someone in the forward area. Will only be Cummins. Fuck, who was actually there the whole year that year?
What year?
14, 15. Because Heffernan
I have to
left.
push you for a guess.
Right, fuck it. Give me Colin Nish.
No, no calling this, I'm afraid.
This is
This is
grim.
hard, eh?
This is hard. I feel like you should have been giving us like the top three or something like each year.
No, I'm not stuck on you. It's just you that needs to get in it. Loser.
Still about 20 names available on the list as
What's the score? 3-2? 4-2? 3-2?
4-2.
No, is it not
True.
3-2? Because he got that one.
I'm taking you and Henderson. That counts. I said Henderson. So. Fans' favourites. Derek Riordan.
I was just about to say,
That
I
was
was
just-
Gary
was just-
O'Connor.
Nope.
Simon Murray.
Nope.
Oh, fuck you.
I like
Scott
this
Brown.
quick fire game though. Nope.
Jamie McLaren.
Maybe need to reset what I mean by fans' favourites. Like not quite Scott Brown, Gary O'Connor level, like a tier down in terms
Aye,
of fan
like cult
favourites.
hero.
Like Craig's one there was maybe a bit more appropriate in terms
Okay.
What did I say?
Jamie McLaren.
Jamie McLaren.
I'm trying to think like that early. Stephen Dobie?
Stephen Dobie, 2003, 2004. He has the joint most number of substitute appearances on the list. 24 times he came off the bench that season.
Can get in there. So is that his all square or is that his back to one? But like, is he getting you in Henderson?
What about? Nah, I'm not. I'll not take that. Don't know.
3-3.
I've got. What about Vikintas Slivka?
Correct. Slivka.
Oh, what a
Joint-
shout.
joint-
17, 18.
Joint most in 17, 18.
What a pluck that is. Joint most.
Oh,
Who
see,
back?
18.
Right, it's not going to be any striker for that year. Because they fucked off in the middle of the year. You said joint most earlier, am I?
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got another one.
Who played? Oh, Stevenson. It was not Stevenson. Must have been someone in the middle of the park.
Gonna have to push it
Marvin
on
Bartley.
No Marvin Bartley.
I'm living off this cult hero thing. Marwan Zamama.
I've already said
Dean's already
him.
said them.
Have you?
Benji.
Like, yep, Benji
That's a cop out taking him. That's a cop
twice
out.
appears on the list. So weirdly, in 2006,
Mixed up
2007,
person.
22 sub appearances, but then again in 2009, 2010. So
Mm.
after his loan spell and then coming back, he was 24 appearances off the bench, so joint most with the
So I'm
earlier mentioned
stupid,
Stephen
like-
Dobie.
Hibs never lost a game that he scored in or something like
Aye, there
Or
was up
no,
until
for a long,
point,
long
there was
time,
yeah,
aye.
there was a weird record. I remember hearing
They
that.
said that in the cup final.
that. Cup
right?
There's
final,
quite-
aye.
so he's one of the doublers. There's quite a few doublers left.
09,
still.
10 or 06, 7, Liam, sorry.
He was 09, 10.
As a double.
But no, sorry.
Oh,
no,
as
no,
in appears twice.
He's a name that appears twice rather than
Got
there's
you.
two people in
Got
that
you,
year.
got you.
Liam, can I ask what of the sort of more recent years we've got that we haven't said already?
Well, none
So
of
we've
the
got
last three.
21, 22. We've got 2021. We've got 19, 20. We've got 18, 19, and we've got the second player in 17, 18 available. We've also got the 16, 17 winner available.
What about Josh Doig?
No.
He started too many games.
Uh,
16, 17 championship season, Marciano. So it's not Brian Graham.
Ryan Graham with 24 as well in the 16, 17
Do you mind
season.
do you mind the
winning?
header? Do you mind the header he scored for, like
against
Cum-
Morton.
I can't remember who it was against, but Cummins is like whipped in an
It was
unbelievable
Morton
goal.
at home.
Oh,
Sure it
wow,
was.
what a goal.
Bastard.
Am I winning now?
Nah,
No, you're
4 each.
level.
Level.
Craig's got to go though to go level. One goes.
2021 COVID season. Fuck, who was it? Hibs COVID season. 20 start too many. Oh, I'm gonna get pushed here. I'm gonna get pushed. Fuck, just say a name. Boozy.
No.
Stevie Mallon.
That was just a stab in the dark.
No Stevie Mallon.
Nah, he started far too many,
I
didn't
was
he?
thinking COVID season.
Well, I'll go through positionally what you've got. So you've got a striker that appears twice. You've got another striker, another striker, another striker. A winger, a striker, a centre midfielder, a a striker who appears twice, a winger, a centre midfielder, and a striker.
Interesting.
Striker who appears twice. Winger, Jamie Murphy.
No.
Oh,
Good
that was a
shout. I would
good
imagine
shout.
he'd been high, but he wasn't on the list. He's probably injured too
Hated
often.
him, eh? You absolutely hated him.
He was just perma injured.
I'm trying to think of like a striker that's been. Oh, Christian Deutsch.
Christian Joyce, 21-22, season 18.
Really? Fuck,
Mhm.
I thought he would have started at more games.
That year
Uh,
after COVID, Liam, aye.
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 Going down the winger route again. Daryl Horgan.
Yes,
Yes,
Daryl Horgan,
1920.
1920 season, 18
What a player.
appearances off bench.
Was he
well
one of the
played.
cult heroes?
I like Daryl Horgan, eh?
Daryl.
Aye.
He had his limitations, but I mean, he gave us a great moment, didn't he?
Shaggy.
Yeah. So is the earliest year we've got now 18-19?
No, we've still got 2021 to play for.
That's COVID year, eh? 2021.
Mhm.
Do you feel like this is obvious, Liam? Like,
Quite obvious, I would say. Aye. He was certainly part of our podcast discussions quite a lot in the early days.
oh, right.
Gonna have to push you, I'm
Aye,
afraid.
aye. Fucking hell, it's gonna be on the centre midfield.
Push him.
Fucking,
That's
I
it.
don't know.
Push him.
Give
Right,
me a
you're done.
player, give me a Hibs
Jake
player.
Doyle Hayes.
Done.
Nah, he was
No.
leaving at his club then.
No.
Was he not?
No.
Fuck.
Give me a Hibs player. COVID season.
You threw me with the podcast thing.
COVID season. Joe Neal, Alex Kodjic. This bit boy, Who was on the bench? Fucking
Come
hell.
on. You're whispering at the mic. You're making terrible audio.
Sorry. Give me a Hibs player. Any Hibs player too. Give me a Hibs player. 14-15. Liam Craig.
No.
Right, 2021. I think it's a centre midfielder. Kyle McGuinness.
Yes. Oh, fuck.
Oh,
It's definitely
Still
in that,
not McGuinness.
it's definitely in that position.
See Jamie Murphy.
It's
So it's a
definitely
winger.
in that. It's definitely in that position. It's definitely in that position.
Oh, I just meant for injury
It's
status.
definitely.
right,
Who the
right.
fuck else? Unless it's no Jackson Irvin, is it?
No.
No.
I've got to say, there's a lot of good quality guesses in the YouTube comments, but none of them are right.
I forgot about
No
the
one's got a
YouTube
single
comments.
one right in the YouTube comments. So lads, don't feel too bad, but I don't think there's a single correct answer in there.
You've just filled up time that he's getting to think there.
I know. Come on, Craig, let's go.
Did you say there was any defenders?
No.
No
defenders.
That fucks me then. I was going to say, I almost say who I was going to say. Dre Wright.
No.
Oh,
Right, lads, I think one more
Melker
guess.
Hallberg.
One more guess. Yeah, Ewan, well done.
Yes.
Hallberg,
no.
Craig,
Is that
back
leading?
to you. I think that's level.
No, I'm winning.
Are you?
I'm
You sure?
definitely winning.
Right, okay, Craig, all the pressure's on you. This is the last guess before I reveal the rest of the list.
You got in him.
What early years have we got? It's
Huge pressure. So you've still got the first few years, really. Then you've
I'm
got
not going to get that.
04, 05. You've got double winner in 07, 08, and 08, 09, as in the same player won it twice. You've got 10, 11 available. You've got 11, 12 available, 12, 13.
I think
And
I've
then
got one.
a double winner in 13, 14, 14, 15. And you've got the other guy in 17, 18, who then also went on to win it in 18, 19.
Alex Harris.
No.
Is Dean Shields one of them?
No.
No.
Dean Shields is not one of them. So the answers that are missing. You could have Dirk Lehman for the first two seasons, David Zatelli in 0102, Tom McManus 2002, 2003,
Lol.
Sam Morrow in 2004,
Oh.
2005. You could have Alan O'Brien, who went back to back in 07, 08 and 08, 09. You could have Danny Galbraith in 10, 11, Akpo Soji in 11, 12. Remember Akpo
I
Soji?
thought he was a starter though. Like
Ross. Well, he
I'm
used to
not pulling
rotate
any
between
of these names out.
Soji, Ogogo, O'Connor, and Griffiths
Of
quite a
course,
lot, and they
aye.
came off the bench a fair bit. Ross Caldwell in 12, 13. Sam Stanton was the double winner. 16 appearances, 15 appearances, 19 appearances off the bench in those two seasons.
What years were they? Sorry.
13, 14, and 14, 15.
14. He's
He's
right.
both.
Okay.
I can't believe he's both didn't get this one. Ollie Shaw in 17,
Oh, I was
18
gonna-
was joint with
Ah,
Slivka,
fuck.
and then 20 appearances off the
I was
bench in
gonna say
18,
Ollie
19
Shaw.
is what I'm missing. And I think that completes the list because she's got everyone else. She's did not bad in the end, but it
I
took us
think I
quite a long
won.
time to get
I'm
there.
being deadly serious. I think I
I
won
think
by
we need a
one.
VAR review on that one, mate.
So well done, everyone who played along in the YouTube comments, but still not a single
By
correct
the
guess in
way,
the YouTube
Holy
comments.
shit.
Kevin Wilson's put
Shows
in
how hard it
some
is.
unbelievable shouts in there.
Ian Shields
Brandon
is good,
Barker.
Brandon Barker's good, but
How's
no, none
Brandon
made the
Barker
list.
know
I
the
thought
correct
Brandon
answer to that?
Barker, but I
I
didn't go
know,
for that.
I know. But
Harry
yeah,
McCurdy as well. Harry McCurdy could have been a shout for that year that Ewan Henderson got it. Maybe started too many games, maybe? Like
mm,
probably started more than we thought that
don't
shitty
know.
season. Anyway, that was a lot of stress.
I'm disappointed with Shaw. That's really going to irritate me, that
It was
one.
a close run thing,
Craig,
right to the
let's
last.
Performed a bit better, though.
Craig, let's talk about something that's not been causing us stress, and that's the way the Hibs have been playing, and something that's been giving us a fair bit of joy over the last couple of months is the state of Rangers. They seem to be on some weird run of form currently under Barry Ferguson, or as Liam's coined them, Barry's Bears. Um, are you feeling pretty relaxed going into the weekend, Liam?
Am I feeling relaxed?
Aye, I mean it's high. Do you know what I
Aye,
mean? Like,
aye. I mean, I think it's still going to be difficult because of where it is and the occasion and all that. But I feel much better about going there now than I did earlier on the season. If you remember back to earlier on the season, we're probably the better team for at least 45 minutes there.
absolutely.
Definitely
Um,
better team.
and certainly should have come away with something from it. From what I remember, obviously, even the penalty miss aside, there were other chances there for us. So I think the sort of team we are, we've got the sort of discipline to sit in a wee bit against them and frustrate them as well, and then look to hit them on
Yep.
the counter. And I don't think they'll enjoy that.
No, I've never been more desperate for us to go to Ibrox and just sit in and let them get angry at themselves, you know. I was speaking to one of my mates who's a Rangers fan, and I was like, it appears to me fairly straightforward to how to play Rangers, and I think we've seen it in both times we've played them this year. Defend sort of deep and narrow, and just sort of give them the wide areas, and just sort of defend the width for the 18-yard box, and ultimately they'll trip themselves up. And not only did he agree, he said that's been the case for the last 2 or 3 years. But yeah, I mean, I think you've seen it in the game even at Easter Road as well. We started with a super high line that day, Craig. I remember you and Harry highlighting that on the podcast at the time and really tried to squeeze the game in their half and sort of got ripped apart on the counter ourselves for their 2 goals. Hibs dropped 10 yards and all of a sudden the game was back to 2-2.
Yep.
Are you expecting us to sort of learn from that and how the game went at Ibrox early in the season, much like Liam said, and sort of sit in and just try and soak it up at least for maybe the first 45?
Aye, probably, to be honest, because I think it was a point I was going to make earlier about David Gray. Obviously, when he took the job, one of his main sort of campaign points, I feel like, when he was in his media stuff, was that how teams were going to be adaptable.
Hmm.
And I think probably we've seen that at the weekend as well, when he highlighted, I don't know if I heard it after the game in his interview, he said that basically their plan for St Johnstone, the way they play, we basically plan to set traps and win the ball off them high up the park and punish them for it. And I think we were in a game where ordinarily, as a Hibs fan, you'd expect to go to Easter Road playing St Johnstone and see us have the vast majority of the ball. I think possession stats after the game were 55% in their favour, in St Johnstone's
Hmm.
favour. So we've actually had less possession at home than St Johnstone. And I think that's just shows how adaptable he is, and he's probably not bothered that how it looks or what you're actually doing as long as you win the game, which I think is something we can all sort of get on board with. I think the weekend, if he follows that trend of being adaptable, then that's what will happen. I think we'll probably play quite deep. Uh, Everything about it tells you that Rangers are poor when a team doesn't come out and play against them. When they're expected to be the team to play, and I think the expectation will definitely be on them at the weekend. So I'd be not necessarily following exactly the blueprints of St Mirren and Motherwell and Queen's Park, but going along those sort of lines, and I think we've got more quality than any of those teams, so hopefully we can punish them as well.
Aye. The reason I said sort of relaxed or whatever going into the game is like, even if we go there and the result doesn't go our way, assuming that you avoid a sore one, it's not the end of the world with the run that we've been on currently. Now I know there's opportunity for Aberdeen to sort of overtake us, and I think Dundee United potentially draw level with us if they were to win at Tynecastle, which I mean that would be funny. But Aberdeen then play Rangers the following week as well. Like it's so I'm quite relaxed going into the game. There's that confidence that I've said I've had in the team over the last few months, and look, I think again I'll say what I said earlier. I think we'll be all right. I'm not saying that we're going to go there and win or we'll get anything from the game, but I've seen enough from this team in both the games we played against Rangers this year, the way we played Celtic at Easter Road, and that they are capable of sort of defending their area and countering on teams. And I think Rangers are there to be got at the back as well. But I am always cautious with these games, Liam, when you see Rangers looking a bit ropey, people start to go, "Oh, we're going to go there. We should be taking the game to them." We can't get drawn into that, I don't think, and we have to be sensible in our approach.
Aye, no, there's no point in going hell for leather against them. I think you've seen obviously. I mean, if anyone who watched the game on Saturday night
Mm.
knows that they still carry a threat. I think I read some of the Dessers had 10 attempts on goal away from home. They obviously only scored one of them, but 10 attempts.
I
They
think it was
create.
10 on target as well, by the way. I think he had 12 in total.
Oh, really?
And they
Right.
had one
Okay.
disallowed for offside, which wouldn't even be included in
I
that.
mean, they create so many chances. Still, obviously, they are fairly open at the back. So it does. I mean, it does make sense to be pragmatic. And I also do think, it's a bit of a cliche thing to say it, but like there is the opportunity the longer you hang in there to turn the crowd against them, use it against them. And those players out there, for them, I think have shown this season that when the going gets tough, they've not got the minerals to cope with the anxiety that the crowd creates. So use it to your advantage, keep it tight, and then as longer the game goes on, I think the chances will present themselves to us.
Yeah. Aki saying in the chat, most bait thing ever is that they'll get a penalty for an absolute made up decision after the penalty we got in January. Ugh,
I mean, you could apply that to the millions of penalties over the last millions is a bit of exaggeration, but I can think of probably about half a dozen off the top of my head over the last 5 years that we've not got against them as
do
well.
you
Which
remember
is
the I was good well, do you remember the Porteous one in COVID?
Aye.
And do you remember the one under Maloney as well, when he got absolutely rugby tackled?
Oh, the one. Aye,
at
but
the
was that
far end.
Hilander just
Yeah.
grabbed and brought him down? Aye,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. There's been
Fucking
a few.
grim.
The Joe Newell one where he was kicked in the head as well, just
Oh,
after
God.
COVID when he went to head the ball and was booted him in the head and yeah,
Sorry, yeah,
apparently.
that's aye, yeah.
Aye. But
Good
anyway,
laugh, good laugh. But I mean, so like for Hibs to go with that more pragmatic approach. You mentioned earlier, Liam, Josh Campbell. I think probably expect Josh Campbell to come in for Hoylett despite his two really good performances. And another player in that similar area for me, who we maybe didn't mention earlier, I thought Dylan Levitt was fantastic at
really
the
good,
weekend. Potentially
really
his
good.
best game in a Hibs top, maybe other than Luzerne. Was Luzerne his debut, by the way?
Might have
Who?
been Luzerne at
Aye.
home. Yeah, might have been.
But anyway, sorry. Would there be a potential Nathan Mariah Welsh coming in for Dylan Levitt? Just if you're going to be that little bit more compact, or do you want his ability on the ball? Do you know, like,
It's one of those that dropping him feels incredibly hard based on that performance of the week, but it might be the word I just used earlier. Pragmatic thing to do might be to bring in Mariah Welsh and then bring Levitt on later in the game if it's a bit
Mhm.
stretched. Um, I think he deserves credit for how good he was off the ball
Yes.
on Saturday. Because we've criticised him for maybe that not being, or not. I don't even say we've criticised him. I think we just acknowledged that it's not been a stronger part of his game. He was very good off the ball. If he was to produce a performance like that at Ibrox off the ball, I'd be comfortable in playing. But I think history tells you that Mariah Welsh is probably better at that.
Mm. And then as well, maybe another change that you maybe thought we would have seen at the weekend, Craig. Would you think you might see a change on that right hand side? We've seen it Celtic Park this year where Chris Carden got dropped and Miller moved out one to right wing back and Warren O'Hara played at right centre back. Or do you think maybe there should actually be that sense of no, like yeah, we're going to sit in and we're going to make it difficult for you, but we're still going to get our attacking players, if you like,
Uh,
Levitt, Cadden, still have them on the pitch.
to to be honest, I think is it Miller you're referring to getting dropped
Yeah,
for O'Hara.
yeah.
Uh,
No,
I think
sorry. To be fair, if he was going to do it, I think it would be Chris Cadden, and he would move Miller to
right,
right wing back. Would be
right.
my
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Right, sorry, I was going to say that I don't think Miller deserves to get dropped. Uh, it's difficult because Miller's been playing really well at right centre half. So do you want to move him out of there?
I know.
I- I'm not so sure. I'm not so
Hmm.
sure if you do move him out. I would probably keep the defence the same. If I was going to have changed it, it would have been for the St Johnstone game purely just because I didn't think Miller would have played.
Hmm.
I'd be tempted to keep it the same, which saying that out loud and keeping Miller right centre half sounds wild considering uh, some of the performances that we've seen earlier in the season. But I think while the player's in form, I don't really think
Yeah.
it's a great idea to move him. And as for the
Aki, again,
Hoylett
just
one as
sorry,
well,
just while you're on that, Aki's highlighting that Rangers are really vulnerable on the left-hand side, so he would try and keep Cadden and Miller in there as
uh,
that threat on that side.
yeah, definitely did and exploit that. Again, Jeff Day's saying there as well. Uh, Goes for a wander and likes to push high, and there's
Do
not
you
going to be
remember
space to
the goal
exploit in the
Motherwell
back.
scored against him in the League Cup
Aye,
semi-final where he just walks there?
aye.
He's a lad. Uh, and I was going to say as well, Hoylett. I don't know if you guys remember back to the last time we played at Ibrox, but Hoylett was absolutely superb that
Hmm.
day. And I thought in games like that, a player that's as good on the ball as him, and there was one moment I remember particularly where he didn't even move the ball; he just moved his body, and he absolutely sent one of the Rangers boys. And I think just that wee bit of composure in games like that is just so vital.
Should have played
Uh,
centrally that day as well. I feel like that was one of the first times we've seen him play in that sort of number 10. I think he played off
yeah,
the
maybe.
striker.
But I honestly can't remember where he played. I just remember him being good. Uh, but then the legs of Campbell is also very valuable as well. And at Ibrox, big pitch, big atmosphere, they'll be right up for it. And the good thing is as well, I wouldn't start high, but I think there's value to if we go a goal ahead like these other teams have done, and obviously Rangers have come back against Dundee and against Kilmarnock. I feel like we're less likely to give that up now. I feel like we're a better organised, better drilled team now than they were before, and I feel
Yeah,
like if we can get ahead, there's every chance we would hold on to it to at least a
100%.
point.
Kieran Bowie come back in for both of yous.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even mention Kieran Bowie coming off the bench and or the second half because it was a total non-event until the penalty. Took his penalty well. Do you think? Do you just think he would give us more sort of physicality,
Um,
a better option in behind and stuff than sort of a Gale or a Miko?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing him up against their centre halves. I think that will be very, very interesting. We know what he's done to Carter Vickers, and if he can maybe try and even play the same sort of way and maybe lay things in behind for Boyle or play off Boyle anyway. Uh, that'll be interesting because they do at times seem a bit powder puff Rangers or defenders.
Aye.
Uh,
Suitor won't fancy that.
nah, so
No,
I think if
especially
Bowie can get his elbows up, and I don't think they'll be up for it.
happy days. Well, I think that just about does us there, boys. Can I get a score prediction for each as far as going to Ibrox?
2-1 Hibs.
I'm gonna go back, roll it back to the old classic. I'm gonna go 3-2. 3-2 Hibs.
3-2,
Mm-hmm.
like the good old days. I am going to go for a sneaky little 2-0 Hibs. Clean
Ooh,
sheet
clean sheet.
FC.
Would love.
Clean sheet. Goal in either half. We're 1-0 up after 20 minutes. Hold the lead. And then Miko comes off the bench and scores in the 90th minute and runs over the corner.
Harry's frothing at
Like,
the mouth and raging.
Harry's breaking his laptop for the deepest, darkest Vietnam. Is he in Vietnam now? I'm not sure.
Aye.
Somewhere like that.
Super. Well, boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. The good times are certainly here just now. How long they'll stay for, we're not quite sure, but we hope they're here to stay. Actually, well done everyone on buying season tickets.
Aye.
Aye.
I mentioned the 10,000 thing earlier on. I didn't care
Oh,
if we
that's
mentioned it
fine.
or not.
That's
10,000
fine.
season tickets, impressive. And
Aye.
one other thing before we go, Liam Young's tweeted us in true Hibs fashion. It's key to get carried away. So it's the projected Europa Conference League spots for next season. Have we look at it, lads? Who's in the group chat? I'm going to go with who I would choose. What trick do we fancy? I want, and the young boy next to me said it to me on Saturday, so it's not an original thought. Ferenc Varos. Give me a bit of Ferenc Varos
Oh.
away.
Did they play in Budapest?
They do.
Mate, what a city.
So,
Genuinely
so
my favourite
could we
city.
play any of the other pots basically?
Aye.
What pot would we be in? Pot six. Oh, right. I'm just gonna while Craig's thinking, I'm just gonna like highlight some names in here.
Honourable mention to
Uh,
Panathinaikos as well, because Panathinaikos would be class.
AC Milan, Dinamo Zagreb, Karabakh, Royal Antwerp, PAOK, Aston Villa, Celta Vigo. Where are you going, Craig? There's loads.
Hajduk Split. I'd love to see their casuals. I reckon they do a number on Block 7, like. Uh,
Would that be the
fucking
pots for qualifying or for groups?
That's the groups.
Oh, right, okay.
Celta Vigo. Let's go. Yeah,
I
let's
was going to
get a wee bit
say
of fire.
if it was for qualifying, I was going to say Celta Vigo because I think if we finish third, our Europa League qualifying might be in España at the time. So anywhere in mainland Spain would be
I'd
nice.
love Villa again. That would be a good laugh. Pump
Who
12-0
stands
and that'd
out
be
to
good.
me? Who stands out to me in here? Wolfsburg. I
Mm.
feel like that'd be a good one. We
It's
trip
just an
to Germany.
industrial city in Germany, innit? It's a bit shite, mate.
Didn't have to spend too much time in there. Just
It's a bit shite.
trains are
Thought
good
you
in
could do it a
Germany.
bit more imaginative than that. I think Lech Poznan would have been a good shout as well, to be fair. Direct
Yeah,
flights to Poznan too.
but
Anyway,
wouldn't be wearing any colours that day.
can't
Fucking
believe
hell.
no one said AC Milan, but there you go.
How
You,
the mighty have fallen, mate. Eh? How the mighty have fallen. Oh, mate, Ferencváros, Varos. You've got me hooked. It's
where
genuinely
is
my
that?
Budapest one. It's
Budapest.
my favourite city I've ever been to. Fucking love Budapest, man. What a place. Oh, Liam, you've got me all sorts of excited. Boys, that was fantastic. Like I say, the good times are here. Hopefully, they're here to stay. We will be back next week, looking back on unbeaten in 16. Cheers.
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 Done.